Hi, I'm Jill Wolcott of Jill Wolcott Knits. Welcome to Taming Techniques. These are short videos I do to show you how I do techniques that I use in my patterns. So watch, practice, and then do it yourself. So the other day I was working on this swatch, and it occurred to me that as a designer, I frequently put you into a position of having like all of this stuff going on that makes perfect sense to me, but could be a little confusing to the person following my pattern. So what do you do when you're in that situation where you're just like, I have no idea what she's doing and why I've been required to do all this stuff? Because of the way that patterns are written, we generally don't kind of let you know what's on our minds. And so all I really want to do here is to give you the sense that there is usually a reason. In my case, I can't really speak for anybody else, a well thought out and excellent reason for having done this really complicated thing that probably makes you want to cry. So right now I'm taking some stitches and they have been put on waste yarn. I am returning them to a needle. So there you go. First question you might have is, what do I do with my waste yarn? And I will tell you what I do. So here you can see that I had these stitches on waste yarn and I left them in, the waste yarn in. I leave it in because if I make a mistake and I have to go back, then I can rip it back. So one of my rules of waste yarn, always use something smooth and use something smaller than the gauge that you're using. So this is basically a lace weight merino bamboo. Probably could have gone slightly smoother, but this is what I had at the moment. So what I'm going to ultimately end up doing is doing a 3-needle bind off. So I would put all of these stitches onto the needle so that I could do a 3-needle bind off, thereby creating a casing. Let's not worry about actually executing the technique, but look at what we have going on here and maybe what could happen. Okay, so first of all, like I've gone in, I can tie that off. And I could even reach over and get scissors and cut that extra end off. So I have this other end from where I put those stitches on waste yarn, and they're still both there. I'm going to grab my tapestry needle and pull them both to the inside. I just like to slip knot things. Again, we can cut that off. You'll notice I'm using my office scissors because I'm sitting at my desk. So then I can kind of tuck that away. What I'm trying to do is to minimize the visual confusion. I could work these ends. So, and I'm actually not binding off, I'm just joining. So I'm going to knit the front stitch off both needles. So I'm pulling it through first the back and then the front. I go in the front, I go in the back, I just knit those two together. So I'm going to end up with just single stitches. Joined those stitches if I turn it around, I'm working from the wrong side. So I was working from the wrong side. I've now dropped a stitch. There we go. Which is creating a purl ridge here on the front of my stockinette stitch casing, which matches the purl ridge that I created down here. And a casing is simply something that you can stick something in. So I'm going to stick ribbon in my casing. You could stick I-cord in there. I knit the back of the casing in the round as one piece, and I knit the front of the casing going back and forth so that I could have this split so that I could tie my ribbon in the front. That's how I would sort this out. Once I got this all done, I would then take the waste yarn out of both the top and the bottom.